try to be very careful when I make videos. Oh, a bunny. That's so cute. Try to be really careful when I make videos, because I use words, right? And concepts. To point stuff out, but it's hard to talk about stuff when you basically know that whatever you say, if taken literally as a definition, is not true. Basically what I'm trying to say is, if you take what I say as actually meaning anything, then I'm lying, because the meaning is not true. You know, even pretty precise words like saying the experience is non-dual, right? Let me give you an example what that means. Like, we call this thing, call it a tree, right? The word tree, right? It's a mouth noise or a mind noise. It's a noise, it's a pattern, it's an appearance, it's a sensation, right? But that word itself, that thing, that or this, it's not a tree, right? We use that mouth noise to point out, right? It's not a tree. There's no such thing as a tree. The only reality that concept has is because of the sensation of what we call a tree, right? And funnily enough, right, because there's visible distinctions in what appears, right? And we call things that are in a certain way distinct something. Those things, because of the reality of the experience, as in there is an experience, and even saying that, I'll get into that later, but there is an experience, makes a lot of people believe that that is actually a tree. That there is such a thing as a tree. Not that we call a sensation of what we call a tree. Now there's a tree, and with trees there's a forest, and nature, and the world. And because I see the tree, there's a me seeing trees that's conscious, and we keep naming, the reality of these names being based on the very real experience. We project distinctions onto the experience, and we imagine up, dream up, without anyone actually dreaming it. A world is dreamed up of things, right? And it's taken to be real, it's believed to be real. And let me switch my hand. And this world, then we can talk about non-duality, right? Because the world is imagined to, or believed to be, a bunch of things, a bunch of people experiencing a separate world. Duality is assumed, is sort of created in thought. And then we talk about non-duality. We try to say, look, no, there is no things, everything is one, right? Which is another sort of potential trap, because everything seems to be one only due to the contrast of being perceived as many, when in reality it's not many, which means there is no contrast, which we could say it's one, which means it's not one. That isn't to say that it can't be called one, but if we said everything is one, then it can't be multiple, which is pointless calling it one, because what does one do or mean other than relative to two or zero? So yeah, it doesn't make sense to call it non-dual. And then I'm like trying to wield these concepts because, well, there's clearly I'm gonna cap. Can I just cap for a second for the sake of being able to speak? Can I lie a little bit? Okay, there's just an experience happening, and the words we use to describe the experience are empty of essence. They are not things. We use many words to point at sensations. Now you could say these sensations are real, but they're not called sensations. Again, sensations is a word without any of its own reality other than pointing to the sensations. But again, is there anything else other than sensations? So sensations only become real as a concept due to the imagined contrast of there not being sensations. Because even the sense of nothing is a sensation of nothing. So you can't really escape sensation. So calling it sensation is another sensation, and we get into the loop, and it's pointless, and I'm lying again. So making videos, trying to point at these things skillfully, I'm left with nothing to say. I'm left with because seeing a lot of suffering, a lot of sad people. Again, I'm lying. I said before, I'm gonna be lying right now, aka using words. But seeing a lot of sad people suffering, right? It's not that I'm helping or that there's a me that's trying to help. It's just like, you know, I think it's pretty natural that like wanting to help, you don't need a reason to want to help. It just arises, right? Wanting to help. So I want to make videos that could help, and I've seen people in the comments that seem to get some help from it, whatever that means. But then again, I've seen that I've caused a lot of confusion too. And of course, making every explanation perfect is another illusory concept in of itself, and I genuinely enjoy making these videos. But when I get up to it, I don't really have anything to say, and whatever I say is cap. So I make some bizarre shit sometimes because I'm trying to point at the silly fact that words are nonsense. But I think that's still a cope, and the sense of calling them nonsense is just another empty label, and we keep going in circles and circles. This is empty, that is empty, calling it empty is empty. So let go of the emptiness, but letting go of the emptiness is still, you know, and I'm aware of that. And I'm not calling it anything in my free time. I'm just chilling. So when I try to call it something, it feels like I'm deceiving, like I'm misleading. But then again, don't call it lying, call it skillful means, boy. You know, I'm trying to. And also the funny part is, you know, this is happening without anyone doing it. Like, obviously, if you really, 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 really look, you get lost in the looking. There's no one looking, in the sense of, again, I said before, I'm gonna cap. So, yeah, take these with a hold what I'm saying loosely. Be like the sky, let it arise and let it pass. And if it hits anything, it hits. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Don't think about it. Don't make it into a idea. Don't make it into a system. Don't make it into a teaching. Don't make it into anything real. You know, take them at face. Don't take them at face value. Take them at face value. Don't do anything with it. Let it arise. Let it pass. Hold on to nothing. Don't hold on to not holding on. There's no one who's holding on. But yeah, I think there's an art in language, in using words skillfully to point people to freedom. Again, it's not even freedom, because calling it freedom means you've been trapped. And if something is true, it means it's real. And if it's real, it means it's always the case. And if it's always the case, then calling it true is meaningless, because it can't be false. Like all of these words, I use them as a figure of speech, as one would use a raft to cross a river, as explanatory fictions. They are not real. They do not exist. There's no me teaching you or speaking. There's no you listening. It's a spontaneously arising conversation happening for its own sake. There doesn't need to be anyone it's happening to. And there isn't. If you look, there isn't. If you look, there is only the conversation. Sure, there might be bodies, there might be mouths, there might be speaking involved, there might be listening involved. But it's all just a bundle of sensations, and it's unnecessary to make anything more of it. And then I tried to okay, well, if it's a cope to just reject using words, and there's genuinely a wish to help arising here, that I gotta try to use words in a way that's skillful and that doesn't try to deceive. If I make up a system, it's gotta be like something that produces the conditions for seeing clearly. It's basically a self-destroying system. But then when I try to find out the skillful means, of course I get one up by the Buddha, because he already anything I come up with is just something the Buddha said. And it's oh, maybe I can help people notice that they're kind of suffering. Oh fuck, first noble truth. Okay, and then we get to those four noble truths, and oh, you see the empty nature of things. Oh, it's already been said before. So I'm why am I even saying anything to contribute? Maybe, just maybe, something I said arises that could help someone see that there's no one to be helped. So it's really stupid, and there's no way I can say anything without it sort of being deceiving if taken literally. So I'm sorry if I deceived anyone ever. My bad. But yeah, that's about it for that. But I did come up with a fun practice, and I'm 100% sure someone's come up with this before. 100%. This is not a deep, crazy practice, but I felt it might be a very useful practice, because I feel like effort, even though if it's an illusion, even if there's no one putting in the effort, until that's really seen, you can sort of people think they're doing effort and they're gonna put in an effort, and effort is almost necessary at a certain point. Maybe, again, maybe, I don't know. I don't want to make definite claims, because I'm not sure. The only thing I know right now is it's pretty nice in this forest, and I'm recording a video. But again, words, lying. But the thing is simple. Pick a word of what you think it is. God, Buddha, Tao, Brahman, Atman, whatever. Pick one of those favorite spiritual words you have, okay? It could be whatever, doesn't matter. And just repeat this mantra, see everything like this. I'm gonna use Tathagata because I like that word and it makes sense. Thus come, thus gone. Because everything is gone the moment it is. So it's always the case and it's never the case. You know, you can't see him, you can't not see him. He's everywhere and nowhere. He doesn't come, he doesn't go. But he, she, what, it doesn't matter though. Don't hold on to these labels. But I'm gonna call everything Tathagata. You can choose whatever and say, tree is Tathagata. This is Tathagata. No, don't even say tree is Tathagata. Tathagata, 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 Tathagata. Tathagata, Tathagata, Tathagata. Tathagata, Tathagata. Tathagata. Everything, just call it something. Call it whatever you want. You know? And that's basically to trick your mind into not distinguishing things as things, but it's just all Tathagata. Right? The word I chose. You can choose whatever word you want, doesn't matter. And then, eventually, from how I conceptualize this practice is, eventually, even the need to call it Tathagata drops away, and boom, perhaps you will see, perhaps seeing will happen, perhaps, it'll destroy itself, the practice of calling it one thing. That's kind of basically calling it one. You can call it the one. It's all the one, it's all God, it's all Tathagata, it's all the Tao. And when you get tired, when you do it for so long, it becomes obvious it's not even that, it's not even God, it's not even Tathagata. But calling it that all the time is gonna make all the other concepts slowly fall away. So it's like a self-destroying mantra, a very simple one. And if done honestly, with honest effort, with honest attention, it can become a pretty interesting way to see and be free. So here's a practice I leave with you. Try it. Call everything Tathagata, or any word you want. Don't call it, this is the Tathagata. Don't say the tree is the Tathagata. That would be wrong. Because you'll be making a distinction. It's still a tree to you. Just say Tathagata, 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 or whatever. And then let go of even that in the end. Even the thoughts. Even when you think of yourself, oh, Tathagata. Whatever image you make, Tathagata. That's it, guys. Thanks for watching. See you in another video. Peace.